Hello, everybody, and welcome to Virtue Field in Burlington, Vermont. It is the Vermont Green FC season finale. I'm Brian McLaughlin with Matt Montel. If you haven't heard by now, some unfortunate news off the top. Vermont Green FC have officially been eliminated from playoff contention. But, Matt, that doesn't mean we can't celebrate the season tonight as they're matched up with Boston City FC, who are the bottom team in the league. Should be a fun night for Vermont Green FC to look back on the year that was.
Yeah, like you had a conversation with Adam saying it's like, this is the last match, official match, home match too, and I think that's kind of fitting. That's nice that it's the last match for us, so it's at home, and let's give all the fans like a proper send off and a thank you for such a warm welcome and having like these large crowds, the whole town showing up for this. It was a great experience, and that's what summer should be all about.
You'll hear more of that interview with head coach Adam Pfeiffer coming up momentarily. But, Matt, let's talk a little bit about on the pitch because, again, the team comes up just a bit short in the end, falling to third place in the division behind Seacoast United in Western Massachusetts. But overall, still a wildly successful season, a win tonight, and they'll surpass their point total from a year ago.
Well, yeah, we were joking around before. It felt like I looked down for, like a minute, and then the next thing I know, I see that we're eliminated, and I was like, we were right in the mix for it, and that just tells you a story about kind of this season and how our division played out. It was tight, but it felt like, at one point there was Vermont was 3 points ahead up at the top for it, and you felt like, okay, that's enough cushion. There'll be probably a draw for maybe like Seacoast or Western Mass, the next contenders for it. And really the margins are so tight that you draw one and you lose one, maybe just 1-0, and you don't feel like there was no, hammerings necessarily. Right. And that's kind of like what makes it surprising for it, and maybe just like frustrating and a letdown. But outside of that, it was still a wildly successful season, and I think it did exactly what it intended to do. Adam and his staff, intended to do was to create a really fun to watch team that plays a really good brand of football. They like to keep the ball on the ground a lot, they play a lot of possession for it, but they can also turn it up and play incredibly direct and catch you off guard, and it's a little bit of everything with it, and I loved it. I had a great time this season with it.
That brings us to tonight, where in one sense it's a meaningless match in the standings. Vermont Green are going to finish third regardless of what happens tonight, but that could mean we see some freewheeling soccer tonight. What could that look like to you?
Oh, I don't know. You could see somebody try to pull out the bicycle again. I think that was week 1. Maybe let's end it on the last week for it. No, I think players might take a little bit more liberties. You'll start to see maybe some range shots, as we call it, something from outside the box, being like, you know what, last game, why not try
Let's see it.
Yeah, because like when you've got to get to the playoffs, you want to get like your high percentage shots, so maybe they'll try to take the low percentage shots.
So, boys, if you're watching this in the dressing room right now, Matt and I want to see you pull out all the bags of tricks.
Yeah.
Loads more to come from both Matt and I on this pregame show. We'll break down the starting lineups coming up momentarily as well. But for now, we'll step aside. My interview with head coach Adam Pfeiffer up after this. Welcome back into the pregame show of Vermont Green FC's regular season finale. I'm now joined by head coach Adam Pfeiffer. Coach, how are you today?
Not as good as I would be if we were playing for a playoff spot, but it is what it is. So we're going to go out and give our best effort tonight.
Of course, and I want to just start with, obviously, the last couple matches. Didn't go exactly as you guys would have liked them to go down the stretch, but still an incredible season. How do you try to balance those two thoughts as we are at the end of this campaign overall? How do you try to weigh all of that with not quite reaching those goals that you wanted to?
Yeah, it's tough. I don't really have all the words to kind of, express, what that's like right now for the group. It's been, honestly a tough week of training. The writing was kind of on the wall on Friday when we lost, and obviously there was more to play for still, and we're incredibly unlucky on Wednesday night. That game, as easy as it was 1-1, it could have been 8-1 or 8-0. So, it is what it is. So, our focus, yesterday at training and obviously today is just going to be on putting the best possible performance together for our fans. We're expecting a big turnout tonight, and hopefully we can, reward the fans, for that loyalty.
Yeah, you mentioned putting together the best possible performance. What are you hoping to see from the guys on the field tonight? What are the things that you are going to be watching for?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking for, an exciting, entertaining, attacking performance. That's what we're hoping for. Obviously, the 3 points is number one, but a very close second is entertaining the people that are spending time with us tonight.
Year 2 for you, what was different from year 1 is still obviously this big game to go tonight, but overall looking back at this season, how was the second year at the helm different from the first?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean,
right.
there was some definite similarities. I do think we took some steps in terms of the strength of the group. I think it was pretty evident even in the games that we lost that we probably had the most talented group in the league, but that doesn't mean you're going to win games. It doesn't mean that the ball is going to fall your way, and obviously that's what happened in those games. So it's difficult. If we win tonight, I think we finished 3 points better than we did last year, and so we'll take that and move on to 2024.
What did you tell the guys? Obviously, when you found out that you were eliminated from playoff contention, what did you just talk to them about and try to get across to them?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was really just about giving this community that's had a rough week, the people that are in that community that will come out tonight, trying to give them something to take their minds off of, what some people are dealing with right now. Obviously, it's not everybody, but just driving around even in my own town, seeing people's belongings just all out on the street, getting ready to be picked up by trash. And I live in Waterbury. I know it's as bad or worse in some other areas. And just seeing the expressions on people's faces as they're doing that was hard to look at. And just kind of reminding the guys about what people are dealing with now in the area, and again trying to lift them up, because that is what sport is all about. And hopefully we can provide a distraction and raise some money tonight for that cause, and sort of that cleanup effort that's going to have to go on right now in the state. And so that's where we tried to turn the focus to that, and ultimately look, like, sport has a very outsized importance to all of us in terms of it's a passion thing. But there are people dealing with real world issues, and if we can help with that a little bit, even just on the field, with a entertaining performance, we'd like to do that tonight.
I don't think I'd be saying anything controversial to say that they're the best fans in the league right here. How much has the support meant to you this season?
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. Honestly, there's no way to truly thank everybody for the sort of unwavering support, and just hope that in due time we'll bring them a championship and an opportunity to really celebrate around the club. But they seem to enjoy themselves regardless, and so we're very grateful and appreciative of all the support and the relationships that have developed from that.
Coach, I've got no doubt championships coming soon. Appreciate the time today, and good luck tonight.
All right, thank you.
Welcome back to a rainy Virtue Field in Burlington, Vermont. It is the Vermont Green FC regular season finale. I'm Brian McLaughlin, joined by Matt Montel. Our weather delay is over. We had over a 30-minute delay due to lightning. Hopefully the electricity has moved on, but Matt, as has been a familiar theme this summer, the skies have once again opened up on this sellout crowd. You can see Coach Pfeiffer there wearing his rain jacket. It's going to be another wet night tonight. After a delay, we're wrapping up the season kind of the only way it could have gone this year, with some rain coming down.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Remembering last season, the inaugural season, it felt like every single match was cloudless and sun. It was a totally different experience, and it's been a lot of rain and a lot of home matches for it. But that's you got to deal with it. That's part of the game, man. You got to play it, especially in Vermont. In the Northeast, you got to play through the weather.
Boston City FC is tonight's opponent. Let's talk some of this match. Vermont Green FC, they're eliminated from playoff contention, sitting in third place in the division, currently 5 points back of Western Massachusetts. Boston City in last place at 0-12-1. Vermont Green FC beat this side 6-0 in their first matchup. Matt, we're expecting this to be a really fun, up-tempo, high-paced match. What could that look like tonight?
Yeah, I think it's going to be probably pretty expressive from like a style standpoint. I don't think we're necessarily going to see a lot of really like kind of late and nasty tackles, a lot of animosity going around in the match. I think both teams are well aware. And, you have to remember, too, the point of USL 2 is, yes, it's almost like an ID camp for the leagues above, but it also is a league where all these collegiate players are trying to stay sharp, they're trying to stay fit, and they're trying to be ready to go back to their programs from if they're not going to be getting moved on to maybe getting an MLS contract or getting up to USL 1, those kind of things. So, I think it's going to be a fun match, and I hope that players kind of take some chances maybe that they wouldn't have when there's a lot more on the line to try to get into the playoffs.
We've got loads of ground to cover tonight, both on the pitch and off of it. Let's run through the Boston City FC starting lineup first. As least as they are lined up, they are deploying a 4-4-2 formation. Cameron Hall, maybe the starting netminder at the University of New Hampshire, gets his 12th start of the summer in net for the visitors. Along their back line, Diego Gisholt, Louis Gazo, a local product and a former Vermont Green FC member, starts at left-sided center back. Mash Masika and Delmorgian Milikusiev at right back. João Filo, the Brazilian, on the left-hand side of the midfield. Pablo Gomez in left central midfield. Manuel Polchera on the right center. And then on the right-hand side is Whitman Desir. Up top, they start Jair Tapina and Aiden Ferguson. Well, Matt, let's take a look at the final Vermont Green FC starting lineup of the summer. A starting 11 that has many familiar faces. The captain back with Jake Ashford. It's overall an exciting lineup that has lots of progressive pieces in it.
Yeah, I was actually pretty excited to see Probo kind of playing a little bit further up, playing as kind of that proverbial number 10. But Myers and D'Agostini and Larache, as all the rest to make up the forwards for it, that's a really, really good attacking, intricate, close touch on the ball, lineup up to into the attack for it. And then, Bozalonga and Pachella, a little bit more conservative, hard hitters in the back, but they, dictate the tempo a little bit from deep. And then, no surprise seeing Ndiaye getting another start, at center back. I know that we had thought we'd see him at like kind of that deep line playmaker role or that enforcer kind of as a CDM, but he's just so good at that position as, part of that center back partnership that why would you move him at this point?
And the captain, Jake Ashford, good to see him wearing the armband in the starting lineup at his preferred position tonight as well. Great to have him back in the side.
Yeah, it was good to see him kind of actually be playing out a little bit, as almost like a wing back, apply his trade a little bit out wide and get more involved in the attack and getting assists. And he even got some goals, which, yeah, you could get those type of goals as a center back, but I think it was more, he had more license, to get forward into the attack, get on the end of a ball. That goal that, what was the match? It was to make it 2-1.
BlackRock FC.
Exactly, yep. And then, just basically being able to get that far into the back post for it, so.
It's going to be a good one tonight. Vermont Green FC expected to play a high-flying style. We've talked a little bit about what that could look like, and Matt, I just want to touch on some off-the-field things as the starting lineup continues to get introduced. Of course, this is the season finale. A year ago at this time, the boys were fighting for a playoff berth. With a win tonight, they could accumulate actually more points than they did last year, but I want to give major credit to these fans, both watching with us on the stream and the sold-out crowd that are standing in the rain right now, although the rain is lightening up just a touch. How incredible has it been to see in year two the growth of the fan base, even after a monster year one, year two somehow taking it to another level.
You can do as much research as you want, basically, when you're trying to start a club like this and identify, get a reading of the town, how much interest is there in the sport, especially from like a grassroots level. But to see the fans, especially 2,500 almost on average at every single home match, and it's been a rainy home matches for this entire season. Just tonight, a perfect example. You've got a little bit of lightning, you got the rain. They got to go stand under the stadium a little bit, and yet they're still here. They all came right back out, and it's like there's so much commitment and love from this town for this team. And I don't even know necessarily if the founders of the club expected this much commitment to it. So
it's been incredible. It's been incredible to witness, seeing all the people again that I am very thankful continue to love the outstanding production that our group puts on here with Vermont Green FC streaming, but also all the people in town, like we've talked about many times, seeing the Vermont Green merch in a grocery store, seeing it walking down along Church Street, it's really everywhere, a movement that has gone so much beyond the on-field product. You and I often get to focus on the fun stuff, the soccer. There's so much more that this club has done and put together that has made it a meaningful experience for more than just these guys down on the field, but for so many others.
Yeah, the club itself, granted, I know that my main interest is the football.
Mine too.
But I love that, the club has basically tried to promote and align with the culture and the interests of the area instead of just being a soccer club, that it's more than that at the end of the day, and I got to say, one of my favorite things walking, maybe on Church Street, I was walking my dog last season. This was the first season, mind you, and I think we were at the end of it, and I was wearing my Vermont Green FC T-shirt. And I was walking my dog down by the lake, by the waterfront, and I heard probably 3 different times, someone in the distance, up the green, and you give like a little peace sign for it. It's like, that's just those little moments. I love those.
Speaking of up the green, unfortunately we don't have the little Twitter machine that we use working tonight to see your tweets on the screen. However, I'm going to try to do my best to shout you out. If you're tweeting with hashtag up the green, I've got that feed on my Twitter. Look at that. There's the applause for the fans. Those boys know just how much the community support means. That's really cool to see. Applause before the match from the Vermont Green FC starters. A really unique moment here in Burlington.
Yeah, you could have, almost excused some, especially the parents, with little kids, and it's Sunday. You got to go to work tomorrow morning, and this is, we're now an hour delayed, so it's going to be a little bit later getting home at this point. But they're committed. They're here.
They sure are. I'm just looking out at this crowd. It is really spectacular. As the boys in green huddle on the field, led by their captain, Jake Ashford. Nick Christopherson making the start in net, his 6th start of the summer. I'm excited for this. I know the stakes are low, but, man, this is going to be a really fun evening.
And look at the sun. Looking over there on the right, you can see it just sneaking out through the clouds. It was like, all right, let's play some ball.
A gorgeous sunset to take in, and I think a really fun style of soccer about to be displayed in the 2023 season finale. There it is. Look at that sunset. That is just gorgeous, peeking through the clouds.
We got a heck of a view, man.
We really do.
This is the home of the world-famous Vermont Green. Let the boys stay with them. Let's bring this one home.
Boston City FC ready to get this underway. Again, the bottom dwellers of the division this year. They finished 4th place in the league a year ago, and an early strike towards the net of Christopherson. Hey, he'll take that. That's one save for Nick Christopherson to start the match.
And that's probably something you might actually see somebody taking a shot from the halfway line right off the bat. Regular season match, nope, not happening, especially if you're trying to get into the playoffs. But hopefully there's more of that.
That was Jair DePina who launched at Christopherson's cage to start. Here's Felipe D'Agostini, the Brazilian who's always so shifty on the ball. Musa Ndiaye making his team best 13th start of the summer. Jake Ashford. And Benny Prego, who's been so familiar at that right back spot. No surprise to see the Green under a spell of possession to begin this game. Again, earlier this year they beat Boston City by the final score of 6-0. They led 1-0 at the half before a second half outburst led by 2 Dylan Lane tallies. Nacho Larache also scored 2 of his team best 7 goals in that match. Giorgio Probo already pulling the strings, looking for Chris Myers. Bumped out there by the left back Diego Gisholt.
And, I know that we were hypothetically thinking about how this match is going to get played and, what are we going to see, now that we know that this is just the last match of the season for it. But I think one thing that has been so consistent about, Vermont is that they play a certain style, and even when they're down, they continue to play that style. That, say they're down 1-0, there's been moments where you would think that they would try to play more direct. They would play the long ball, try to go over the top a little bit. Nope, they like to play it on the ground. They like to play these little 1-2s, these intricate passing patterns all the way through the field to try to get that shot on the goal, get those chances created for it. And I think it's just in their nature at this point. They've been training on it for so long that it's just their default.
Benny Prego trying to angle his way down the middle of the field, knocked away from Nacho Lorech. Up to the starting striker, DePina. And I think it was, talking with Coach Pfeiffer in our pregame interview, Matt, he kind of felt the same, that, look, despite this team struggling over the last 2 road matches, the loss at Western Massachusetts where they did not score, and only finding the back of the net once against Pathfinder FC, he really felt like those were 2 of their best performances of the year, with playing the ball on the ground and accomplishing what they want to do in possession.
Well, I'm glad he agrees, because I remember walking away from those matches frustrated, like a little bit down about it, because, you know, the scoreline says one thing, but actually watching the match, you know, those were actually some really great performances, like really professional. They definitely, you saw that they worked exactly on, they played what they had been working on the entire time, and their style of play, their brand of football for it. And I love seeing that a team, you know, just because they might be down, or, you know, there's a certain period in the match where you got to get that next goal, they don't just basically throw away everything that they've trained on.
1-on-3 goes the speedster DePina, and Musa Ndiaye welcomes DePina to the match. That's just par for the course for the Moose man along the back line. And Chris Myers skipping his way through the defense. A strong tackle thrown in by Pablo Gomez. The ball springs to Benny Prego. Prego gets to his right foot. Daniel Pacella. An early ball to the back post. Over the top of the starting striker this evening, Nacho Lorech.
I think he anticipated D'Agostini was actually going to run onto that. Instead, you know, D'Agostini kind of held his spot right there. But it's a good, he was unmarked, you know. He didn't have anybody around him for, you know, around 5 feet from him. So if he actually commits to that, he gets a shot on goal with his head.
That's starting keeper for Boston City, Cameron Hall. He has started now 12 of the 14 league matches for City. A University of New Hampshire Wildcat. I know they just graduated their starting keeper, Jassim Khalilat, in the offseason. Hall has gotten lots of experience this summer. I'm sure he'll be making a push for that starting job. Controlled in the midfield by City, they go wide.
Boston spread to the left. All over the top.
Ashford reads the long ball, again intended for DePina.
Calmly puts it back into the middle of the field. Threadgold with lots of space on the left.
Gabe Threadgold, one of a couple Washington Huskies in this lineup, slams on the brakes as he was put under pressure by the right back Melikusiev. That's one that I'm telling you right now, I'm going to stumble on it. Melikusiev.
You're doing a great job.
It's still early in the night. Pacella. Ndiaye asks for it and receives it.
It's becoming a trademark of their style of play, is that, they
Giorgio Probo gets on it from Threadgold. It's cut out. Cameron Hall reads the cross. Intended for Lorech. Well read by Hall.
And all of that is starting, with the center backs, with the defense from it. They pivot the ball left to right, until they see these little lanes that start to pop up. And it started in the defense, then it came through the midfield, and then they found the lane for a more direct, pass forward that just beat the defender for it, and you've created a chance.
Hall playing it out of the back. Mash Masika. And again, Ndiaye takes it away from DePina. Pacella wants to send Lorech long. Nacho in a foot race. He tracks it down. And D'Agostini ping-pongs it back. Nacho Lorech stopping on a dime, brings oohs and ahs. Probo, one-time ball. Cut out just before Myers could pound it home. Last second defending by the local product, Geza.
And it's the movement off the ball. Some players can be guilty sometimes of, passing the ball and then almost being a little bit static. They never stop moving after they pass the ball, and that's how you saw D'Agostini and Lorech. They both just connected, and then it led to this chance right here, but they're both just connecting and working these two players just to create it.
That was actually Diego Gischel who ended up making the important intervention. You're right. I think that movement off the ball is one of my favorite things to watch about this club. There is so much constant weaving and almost like a motion offense in basketball a little bit, which I'm not supposed to compare it to other sports or anything, but that is at times what it can feel like.
We're American, Brian. We compare everything to other sports. And again, we're seeing they're working it left to right, and then these lanes start to open up for it. And it requires a lot of discipline, from the team out of possession to always stay pretty close to the mark, or at least within the space to cut off those passing lanes.
Myers chips it back across after Probo won the ball in the press. City defends well. Their central midfielder, Manuel Polchera, brings it down and outlets to DePina. He's a one-man attack at the moment, joined a bit by João Filo, and a foul is called on the far side as Prego just does enough to warrant a whistle.
I think he more or less just fell over, but we'll let it go.
This is still a league match. Not that there are zero stakes in this.
There's pride.
No question.
You always want to end on a high note.
And I will say, Vermont Green have put together enough of a performance this season that, Matt, I'm going through the standings earlier today of the entirety of USL2. Vermont Green are pretty clearly, at least amongst the points in the standings, right now the best third-place team in the league by a wide margin. And so I think you want to keep that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's something to look back on for next season and say, okay, where did, maybe it slip up? And it's like those 1-1 ties a little bit, or it's, the 1-0 loss for it. And that's what you have to learn from moving into next season. All of this is learning moments for Adam and, his coaching staff.
And look, there's a collegiate season quickly on the horizon. That ball too far in front of the racing Melikusiev. With the college season coming quickly, a lot of these guys are looking to find form. They want to be in tip-top shape once they report back to wherever their colleges are.
I think I remember the first match. I think it was hot too. I remember it was hot. It was sunny. It was beautiful, but it was a tough kind of temperature to just have your first full match going. And that's from the highest levels. We're talking at international levels or Premier League or whatever. The first, 4 weeks, you can just see the fatigue set in around like the 50th, 60th minute, and that's just, it doesn't matter what level it is. It's like the first ones is always about that. And now looking at this team, they look really, really sharp. They look really, really fit, and they're going to be definitely, the power players going back to their collegiate programs.
Giorgio Probo just squeaks away from Larache and scooped up again by Gezo. Gezo, I know somebody you're excited to watch tonight, Matt.
Yeah, he's a buddy. I had the pleasure of occasionally giving him the ball as much as I possibly could for Capital FC, and then had the displeasure of playing against him a couple times.
This fall, I should say, Gezo played collegiately at Babson after starting his career at the University of Vermont. Playing center back tonight, played a bit more of an attacking position for Babson. Scored 6 goals in the fall. Here goes D'Agostini. It finds Giorgio Probo. His shot takes a deflection, gobbled up by Hall.
But yeah, Gezo's got a little bit of something, a little bit of everything kind of to his game, but he played more as a CDM every time that I would kind of either watch or play with him, and, he was fantastic. He absolutely tackles like a hammer.
A poor City giveaway, and now Nacho Larache gets it on his left. Nacho can't believe he missed that one. A good look from Probo to set up the green striker. A good look there for Nacho.
I think he wants that one back because I think he could have probably passed it into the bottom of the right post there. But
Hall came out and challenged him, and Larache ends up missing the target. Now, Larache is one of the rare instances on this Vermont Green side. He's not going back to a collegiate university. He's trying to play professionally after this. He's wrapped up his NCAA eligibility. So he's maybe got a little bit of pressure to show what he's got. He's in that kind of circumstance. It's a bit different than the rest of these guys.
Have you heard anything from
not much.
Basically where he might be going, if he's going to stay stateside?
I have not heard. He's played professionally already in a lower tier in Italy. Almost got one back on the press with Myers. Aiden Ferguson slings it wide for Gisholt, and City try to work through the press again. I've not heard much about what's in Nacho's future. I do know wherever he does end up, there's going to be a certain level of energy that he brings with him. An advantage played initially after the foul committed by Bozalongo as he tackled Masika down to the ground. Green free kick as DeAgostini's brought to the turf. Ashford trying to split the lines. That's Prego who's wandered his way up the end line. And now Myers finds a dangerous space. On his left foot! Chris Myers, the most recent big scoring chance.
They're doing a great job. You know, it's already, I think, 4 different chances now within the first 13 minutes. And, you know, there's nothing necessarily needed to change for it. But I would say that at this point right now, you know, just keep getting the ball to Probo. Like, Probo right now is just taking up these beautiful little spots just to connect all of the forwards together.
Giorgio Probo is quite the player. There he is on the turn, looking for DeAgostini, but Hall falls on it. He's slotted in a couple different positions this year, the Creighton Blue Jay, Giorgio Probo. Threadgold wins it back for the green. It falls to the feet of Bozalongo, and Pacella conservatively backwards. But the more and more I've kind of thought about this, Matt, if we were doing a fantasy draft of the green players,
yeah,
I'm picking Giorgio Probo 1 overall.
I can't disagree with that. I think I would have maybe picked potentially Ndie.
Yep, he's in my thought process.
Yeah.
Also versatile.
Yes, exactly. Pacella, he's a good shout too.
There's a lot of good options. There's Probo. Nacho Laraich has it. Flag stays down. Laraich, back and forth he goes. Takes the righty rip. That deflected out. It will be a green corner. That was just a thought that I had recently of like, that man Giorgio Probo might be that dude that I would choose. He's headed to the corner flag to try to cue up Nacho Laraich right now. Without the big target of Nate Jones tonight, but Ashford and Ndie, both big aerial threats, wander into the box. Probo chops it into the middle. It's Nacho who got his head to it, but couldn't get on top of it over the bar. Goal kick. Our guy Noah, watching the game from Chicago, just tweeted at us. Again, the tool we use to get the up the green tweets on our screen tonight is down. As here's another look at the Laraich attempt from the corner.
It's a good job, you know, honestly, getting on the end of it, especially when there's 4 defenders there. It's kind of poor defending that if you've got all of those players right there, one of them should be getting their head on the ball.
City holding possession for a moment. But again, if you shoot me a tweet with hashtag #UpTheGreen, I've got Twitter open right now. I'll do my best to shout you out. I appreciate everybody who's tuning in on this season finale. What a ball that is from Ashford. Probo on it.
Yeah, it's a great diagonal run from Probo, too, seeing that space for it.
Puts too much on the cross over the top of Laraich. It will trickle out for a City throw-in.
What skill there. Pacella showing a masterclass.
Threadgold wins it right back. A header into a dangerous area, but Gisholt scoops it up. Ferguson. And there's some space out wide. Pablo Gomez.
But the ball is poor out wide. You know, it's a little bit of a poke, and it's behind. The player had to stop running forward just to receive that ball, and that gives, literally, we're talking seconds. It gives enough time for Vermont Green to get into place and snuff it out.
Nacho struggled to hold that ball in traffic, but Pacella runs onto it and then loses it. City asking for a foul. It was Ferguson shoulder to shoulder with Pacella. Ferguson, who played for the Emerson Lions this last year. Probo gets decked, but no call. Ashford steps up trying to win it back. He comes to the feet of Philo. He pings it off of Pacella. onto the feet of DePina. Chaotic back and forth for the moment, and then Ndie gets taken to the ground. There's some of Musa's skill at the back.
And I know I said that it would probably be a more friendly match, so to speak, but all it takes is a couple late ones and some no calls.
And this Boston City side have been in some scraps this year, Matt. I believe, I don't have the official number, they have more red cards than anyone else in the division.
All right,
they
so
had
noted.
3 red cards in the match against Western Massachusetts. Now, 2 of those red cards were late in the match. It got out of hand. The Pioneers beat Boston City 10-1 that day. So maybe some frustrations were running high because of the result. It was still early on in the year. I'm not totally sure of the circumstances, but this has been a Boston City side that have not been afraid to get their name in the book. D'Agostini just out in front of LaRage, and again to the hands of Hall.
I've never known a Boston team in any sport that isn't a little rough.
I think that's a very fair point.
Kind of part of the whole culture.
There's the press again from Vermont. LaRage looking for Myers. It's in front of Myers. He goes shoulder to shoulder with Gazo. And that trickled over the end line for a corner.
Gazo wanted the goalkeeper to come out and claim that.
Yep, they're having that conversation as we speak.
We're looking for the tall men in the middle.
There's the Italian man, Giorgio Probo. Where will he choose to put this one? Deep to the back post, over the top of Ndie. It's knotted out for another corner.
He was looking for Jones.
No Nate Jones in the lineup tonight. He is available off the bench.
That is the one thing that maybe I would say you don't play the exact same corner, without those specific key players. That's something that you could clearly see as they have that undercut driven ball to the back part of the 6-yard box where, Jones would be.
Here's a different look. In-swinger from Bozalongo. Ashford won the ball in the air, but it took a pinballing deflection to the feet of City and out of danger.
My word, we just saw an in-swinger.
And Alfredo Bozalongo, I was talking to some of the coaches recently, Matt, and they, for just about anybody on the squad, he's their choice to take some of those set pieces. When the ball's at his feet, they love what he can do with that left foot.
No, I like that. I mean, that's my personal favor is the in-swinger, especially if you really whip on the ball. It's difficult to defend altogether because it starts wide, and then anybody that's just running on it, all they have to do is just basically sneeze on it.
20 minutes in, still no score in this finale of the regular season between Vermont Green FC and Boston City FC. Again, both teams eliminated from playoff contention. This will end their summers tonight, but still lots to play for, lots to celebrate this evening. Probo playing quarterback wide for Prego. The speedster Prego chips it for Bozalongo, who makes a dashing run. He takes a knock from Gazo in the back. The whistle swallowed for now, but Bozalongo remains on the turf. Those two were teammates a year ago. Tonight, Gazo, wearing the captain's armband, went through the back of Bozalongo.
Yeah, you put on a different color, and it doesn't really matter at that point during the match.
A nice little handshake there after Bozalongo got back to his feet. Here's the play.
Yeah, he takes a good chunk out of him, but it's a good challenge.
He wins the ball.
Yeah, he wins the ball.
I know you like a challenge like that. Dangerous in the box there maybe, but you don't hate that.
I'll tell you what, it kind of sucks to be the guy that's you know where the ball's going to land, so you can't really move. You have to stand and you have to try to win it, and a shark is behind you.
Yeah. That one felt like Alfredo knew he was going to get laid out and was thinking, all right, maybe I can just win a penalty for my team. Bozalongo outside of the foot feed for Ashford. Look at Probo finding the ball again. Prego. He's got that quick right foot. Bozalongo wins it back. The City bench asking for a potential foul. They wouldn't get one as the Green press has been very effective so far. Here goes Benny. Prego skipping to his right. A deep ball towards D'Agostini.
Just an absolute onslaught of chances, too, in this entire first half, but haven't necessarily tested the keeper yet.
That one took a deflection off of Masika after the D'Agostini header. Another green corner. Looks like it will be Giorgio Probo to head to the flag.
I like, though, that in those instances, though, some players, some teams, they want to just get it into an area. You see that actually Vermont Green tries to pick out a player. Like they make eye contact, they hold the ball, and then they actually try to get exactly, their target.
That one does find the target of Jake Ashford. Again, it took a deflection off of a City player. It is rapid fire from the corner flags at the moment for the Green.
It feels like the dam's going to crack at some point.
Ashford sitting on a pair of goals for his campaign. Musit Ndiaye would love to open his account. Larache, another candidate with his forehead. Bozalongo. That's whipped into the middle, and it's Gazo who wins it. Pacella tries the volley. That would have been something from Daniel Pacella. That's tough to get right.
That's what I want to see, though. I love those. Those are my favorite.
And I tell you what.
Take it out of the air.
Daniel Pacella, when he scores, they tend to be bangers for whatever reason.
Doesn't get too many chances, so,
We love you, Pacella.
The goal,
he tries the amazing.
He scored maybe one of the most incredible goals of the year for University of Vermont with his left foot, first-time touch, well outside the 18-yard box in the NCAA tournament. It was a screamer. I was watching that game on my couch, and I let a little yelp out when he let that one fly in that game. It was one of those and then, wait, that was Daniel Pacella who just hit that? One of those moments. Deep throw in for the Green after City try to break. If there maybe is a criticism of Vermont Green on field this year, Matt, they've been maybe just a bit susceptible to those breaks, right?
Well, they play with a high line, like the defense is so involved in their possession that they play almost just past the halfway line and sometimes even further than that. And so, a team that can play really, really quick and intricate on the counter and, get it forward and direct really fast, that's difficult. But that's why I think Ndiaye is just such a good player, is that he's got the pace to recover really quickly if they lose possession and he needs to get back for it. But he's really, look.
There's
he
the
just,
pass.
Just
and the nutmeg.
Stringing a 50-foot pass like that.
D'Agostini's in his bag. He rakes it forward, and Nacho's offsides. Flag is up. He's going to take the shot. It's a good save by Hall. It won't count. The flag was up on the far side. What a sequence.
You could see Threadgold, had his hands up. He's like, no, just leave it. I was on sides.
He was.
I made the bombing run.
Speaking of Threadgolds, Tim Threadgolds tweeted at us. Looks like Tim's watching, probably related to Gabe, I would imagine. There's another look at the Threadgolds chance. That's a good save from Hall.
Yeah, strong left hand.
Benny Prego, his turn to rampage forward. And D'Agostini, let's see him go to work. Felipe D'Agostini was looking for another nutmeg. Masika stood his ground. And Masika stabs it out. It's a Green throw-in.
And it's good kind of last-ditch defending from it, but you can't sustain this, for 90 minutes. At some point, Boston City is going to have to kind of adjust something, maybe within their lineup, have a conversation about, okay, we're getting overloaded down on, the flanks for it.
Chris Myers on the layoff from Nacho. Vermont Green find the back of the net. It's Myers, the opener.
And just as I'm saying that, that has just been coming for 25 minutes now. It's just chance after chance after chance. They're playing no more than two touch. Nobody's taking too many touches unless they get towards the 18 from it, and that's exactly how you want to play when you want to play possession.
Started by Threadgold, moved on by Probo, and how about this hit?
I wonder if Larache was actually laying that off, but just say you did.
It's an assist for Nacho regardless. I'll give him it. For Chris Myers, his first goal in the Green. And there they are in the press again, winning it back. Probo starts things. Textbook finish from Chris Myers. Well, that adds an air of celebration to the atmosphere in an opening 26 minutes that have been dominated by the Green.
I think the sun adds an air of celebration right now.
It is a gorgeous little sunset off on the horizon. And in a week that has been brutal to the state of Vermont. Brutal is a good way to put it. We're thinking of those out there that have been affected by the flash flooding. they're doing a great job raising awareness tonight, raising money, raising food and materials for those people who were affected, the flooding in particular in the middle of the state. LaRage looking for D'Agostini. That leaks through for Hall.
And we know that, sports, it's just entertainment at the end of the day, and it's a distraction, and that's what I hope it is. I hope right now anybody that's, got really, really hit hard by all of that rain and the flooding that's going on for it is like, hopefully Brian and I can just bring you some entertainment for a couple hours and just kind of distract you from all of the stress that has ensued.
Yeah, and if you're curious how you can help out, check out any of the Vermont Green social media channels. They're partnering with the University of Vermont Athletics tonight here at the venue, doing an auction for some of their jerseys. There's many more ways you can help out as well. I would encourage any of you to go online and check it out because some of these flood damages have just been absolutely horrific. And as Matt said, I think brutal is a fitting word to describe some of the things that people have had to go through in this state for the last week. And there was more rain tonight that came and went, and we are, I don't think, done with all the rain as we look forward in the forecast coming up. So hopefully tonight can be a night of celebration and some levity and just letting people relax and enjoy some Vermont Green football.
Yes, sir.
Chris Myers, the game's opening goal, a strong challenge, knocks it off the foot of Prego, but it finds the willing feet of D'Agostini. Prego was looking for Myers, the goal scorer, down the right-hand side.
Benny Prego tries to push it down the right-hand side, cut out by the Boston player, and is out for a throw into the green. Crossfield pass to Ndai. Lots of space on the left wing.
Threadgolds.
Oh, buddy.
That's a dangerous pass. Bozalongo and Ashford defending the speedy DePina. Jake Ashford to Aiden Ferguson. His eyes go up, and DePina has a step. Threadgold trying to close him down. DePina with Prego chasing in, and Benny Prego, last ditch, stabs in with the right foot.
Really, really good last-ditch defending there. And now on the break.
D'Agostini picks it up from Probo. Felipe D'Agostini. Nacho LaRage cuts it back, rips a shot, and Hall stands his ground. Another good stop from Cameron Hall. LaRage's chances continue to mount.
I love the run that he makes, too. He doesn't stay, central and in this pocket for it. He actually, you see him make this huge bending run around D'Agostini just to get this chance for him. He knows exactly what he wants here. Pulls the dummy. It's a good attempt, and it's an even better save, honestly.
Vermont Green, as we have played over 30 minutes in this first half. Another set piece to add to their total. Probo into the mixer, but this time calmly played by Hall.
But dealt with by the goalkeeper quite easily, who plucks it out of the air and sends it to the right.
Myers and Bozalongo work to win it back. Probo's pass just too far in front of the goal scorer, Myers. It's tracked down by Masika. Gazo. Melikusiev dropped it for Polketa. Threadgold spotting open fields. Bounces it for Prego. Myers fouls.
But we had possession. Anyways, moving on.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
we don't need to go too deep on our officials this evening. Threadgold's turn to work it to his right foot. Bozalongo, the maestro of the midfield. Prego skipping through challenges. Myers. There's that high line you're talking about of Vermont Green. Look where the back group have it.
Yeah, as soon as they need to recycle it, say that it's too much pressure in one, there's no lanes opening up for it, they can literally just play back to Ndie or Ashford and pivot the ball, try to find it, on the right side or the left side, or even just like a direct one down the center.
Probo forced backwards, and he uses Christofferson.
Back to Christofferson.
Adam Pfeiffer giving his squad orders from the sideline. Ashford playing an early ball, looking on the run of LaRage. Nacho flashing him a thumbs up, appreciating the service, even though it didn't reach its intended destination. Nacho with the takeaway. Lorage tees it up, rips the shot. The deflection off of Gazo into the breadbasket of Hall. Picella bumped off of it by the physical Pulchetta.
Pulchetta is a unit.
He's
Just
a big boy.
notice that, yeah.
One of the more veteran presences on this relatively older Boston City side. Lots of international faces as well. Boston City do well in an exchange program that they have with some other international groups that send some of their academy products, I believe, overseas, and they receive some in return. Bozolongo, runners on the outside. Prego, right in his stride, puts it on the feet of D'Agostini. It falls for Myers. He took a big-time volley attempt, couldn't hit the target. Another scoring chance.
It's a good attempt. It's just sitting a little bit high that he couldn't come down on the ball, and he just got a little bit under it. But it's, it's quick reaction. It's a millisecond.
The lone goal to this point belonging to Chris Myers. Vermont Green have had almost all of the possession. Boston City unable to work it through the green press. And there's Hall, his only option into the Green Mountain Boys.
You can take that home. That's yours now. Oh, too late. You threw it.
Ferguson. Nifty, well done by Bozolongo. Here goes D'Agostini. Picella on the overlap. D'Agostini plays it to him. Cuts it back for D'Agostini. I think it might have been intended for Lorage, but it was disrupted. Probo a challenge to knock it away. And Ashford applauding the work of his midfielder Probo to win the ball back. Here's Giorgio Probo. Not on the same page as Lorage that time.
That one was a little blunter.
D'Agostini brought down right in front of the home fans.
I think that's the first card of the match.
An early booking goes to João Filo. D'Agostini, who generally draws so much contact. I think you could make the argument the most skilled dribbler with the ball on this green side. He is fun to watch with the ball at his feet.
Well, you'll see a lot of moments like that where it's, 2, 3, they make these little triangles, Vermont Green does, and there's so much quality in the dribble on all of these players, especially the forwards, and it gets really frustrating when, you've got almost 10, 12 chances that have been going against you. They're playing all this possession. You're doing all this hard work defensively, and it almost just feels like it's like belittling at this point that they can do this. So then you see like those late, hurried challenges where somebody just comes in hard.
Nacho almost did well to drag it with him after Picella's pass got intercepted. That was classy. Musa Ndiaye. Yeah, you're right. He's got a fair argument to be taken 1 overall by this side. Here's Myers.
Spreads it to the left to Threadgold.
Threadgold. He's got some options. Back and forth with Lorage. Probo lays off for Bozolongo. Right back for Giorgio. And he's dragged to the ground. This time it's Polchetta who goes through the back of the Italian midfielder.
Silly foul, too, because now you're giving a free kick in a really dangerous area. Like, that's the perfect amount of distance to get up and over any wall that's going to be put in place and get it into a really dangerous area. And
it's an angle where you could make service really tough for the goalkeeper to read.
Yeah, because he can't necessarily sit on his line. He can, but he's going to have a lot of trust in his back line to actually go and win the first ball.
Alfredo Bozolongo, the William and Mary product, eyeing this one up closely. He scored a free kick goal a year ago for Vermont Green. This might more be a passing angle. Bozalongo with the left. Miscues that one, sailed over the bar. And a wave of the hand, an apology to his teammates in the middle.
Yeah, he's disappointed with that. It was a good chance that he had for it and just got too much on it.
Hall, who has made a couple of good saves so far, ready to put this back in play. But first we will have a Boston City substitution. And it is the big physical midfielder Polkaira who's exiting.
I know that trot. That's a I'm gassed and tired trot.
Done that one before, haven't
Yeah.
you?
Oh, yeah.
I did that one
more
earlier.
often than I care to admit now.
I did that one earlier this morning, I think. And it was getting out of bed.
Coming down the stairs or going up?
On the way to my coffee machine. Gassed and tired. That's me. Played out off the goal kick for a Vermont Green throw. Lorach on the half turn. Threadgolds forming a triangle with D'Agostini. Lorach back and forth with Threadgolds. And it's played out off of Masika. Another green corner.
And that's just been kind of just like to highlight something that you've just been seeing like this whole first half is Threadgold, Lorach, and D'Agostini making this triangle there in the attacking third on the left side for it. All of them just playing like these 1-2 touch passes and move, pass and move, pass and move. And it's just been working the entire time.
Probo's ball to the near post. Bozalongo got the flick, and it's Musa Ndiaye. Musa on the board in the green, doubles the lead.
Is that the first of the season for him?
His first.
Oh, good for him. You can see the smile on his face. You know, he doesn't get that many chances, maybe ahead on a corner kick, but let's take another look at this. It looks a little bit close. It's a good flick on, and he gets his foot out. It's a good reaction.
He almost looked embarrassed when it found the back of the net, sending the green crowd into hysterics.
I think his studs just got it enough.
He'll take it. The back of the net rippled all the same. In the 40th minute, the big fella's first goal, Musa Ndiaye. Look at that grin.
Yeah, you can see the whole team is really happy for him too, because I don't necessarily think that he's the most prolific goal scorer in the roster.
I think he would rather, like you, throw in a bone-crunching tackle than find the back of the net.
Right.
But he'll take it nonetheless. Foul going against Prego in the green along the far side. Well, this first half has gone certainly according to plan for Vermont Green through 40 minutes.
First goal of the season. One more goal than we ever expected of him. He is a centre-back.
And not that the score necessarily probably would have dictated what the substitutions would have done just for this last match, but now being up, 2-0, I think Adam is probably going to be, rotating pretty heavily maybe at halftime or just about 10 minutes in.
Just about every sub is up and stretching along the far side of the field for Vermont Green. I think you're right. We're expecting a pretty heavy rotation tonight.
Yeah, you want everyone to get, some final minutes.
Again, this game, relatively low stakes. Both these sides have their seasons already wrapping up tonight. Vermont may be looking to show off just at the end of their season, though. Show all the skill they've got. Probo to Pacella. Lorach has it back to goal, struggling to keep it. A City body went down in the box. It's out for a green throw-in, though.
Looks like Nacho is coming from an offsides position there.
A late flag
By the green gives Boston the
on the
ball
far
in
side of the
territory.
field, and they're waving over our central official to go talk. A chit-chat at least being had.
Pointing over to Boston
It's the
City's
city bench.
sideline. Huh.
That they're looking at. The fourth official in the vicinity of the city bench as well. And a card is being brandished, I believe, to someone on the city bench.
A lot of finger pointing.
From the officials. A yellow has been shown to a Boston City FC player on their sideline. Something must have been said.
Yellow card issued to the Boston FC bench. Not sure why.
We don't know either, Tom.
I am always entertained when I come to Virtue Field and Tom Proctor is our public address announcer. Not always informed, but I am entertained. Pacello leaves it for Bozalongo. That's a classy touch, and Myers a rip. Hall stonewalls it. That was a really nice 1-2 combo.
And low, but can't get past the goalkeeper.
And now Probo, Giorgio Probo, a square ball that Gazo's on the end of and intercepts.
Really clean first touch, too, on a ball that was moving really fast just to give him that chance.
Vermont Green cycling the ball quickly. Throw in taken into Pacella. LaRache getting on the ball all over the place. Musa Ndia receives from Threadgold, plays back for Bozalongo. Coolly done under pressure by Bozalongo and Musa.
I think Christopherson wants a touch.
He might have been calling for it
Yeah,
there.
you could see him in his hands. I was like, I can pivot the ball.
Prego in a foot race. Tracks it down. And a physical play. They're going to call that against Prego as he sent Aiden Ferguson downward. That looked like two guys going shoulder to shoulder to me, and Benny Prego was just the stronger of the two.
Mm. Yeah, and then there's some words now with the AR.
Ball back in play for City as we've played a full 45 minutes into first half stoppage time. It's been a lonely half for Jair Tapina, the striker for City. Hasn't seen much of the ball. It's played out off of Ashford unless they called a foul there on Ashford, in which case it's a City free kick.
Yeah, he hasn't dropped in deep to kind of get on the ball more often, which sometimes can help actually get, like, your wide players forward. It's like you drag in a center back because, Ashford or Ndia are going to have to follow at some point because if Pacella, all those chances that Boston City have had are basically on these breaks. So if he actually checks in, then it's basically Pacella and Bozalongo are so far forward that they actually aren't going to be the first player to put a mark on them. So Ndia or Ashford will have to commit. And that way you start to create, you pull the defense in a little more central. The wide players can probably get forward a little bit more. And it's just that's kind of where you have to mix it up if you're going to be playing this counterattacking style.
LaRache hits a home run in kickball, but that will not matter in this one. Boston City, to your point, Matt, they've struggled to get forward in general. And I see your thought there about how they might make an adjustment at halftime. Again, this is a team that's really struggled throughout the course of this season. A goal differential of -39. They've lost their most recent game, a 3-0 defeat at BlackRock FC. Their only point they've taken this year, a scoreless draw against the Boston Bolts. In general, the City side that have just not quite been able to find their footing at all this year. Classy from Probo. Bozolongo and company looking for something late in the first half. Patiently worked here by the green, in no rush.
You can see it again, just working it left and right, and it's exhausting to defend because you're constantly shifting your entire team shape, and everyone has to do it together because then if somebody leaves their mark a little bit, there it is.
Myers from Probo for Gabe Threadgold. What a block by Gazo. And that brings the first half to an end. Louis Gazo at the final whistle. A big-time block with his body, Matt. A pretty dominant opening 45 from the home side.
I just want to say, I like it when I'm right occasionally. Once in a while. Telling everyone what they're doing, and then finally it actually shows.
Vermont Green and Matt Montel both had a great first half. We'll step aside. 45 down, 45 to play in the season finale at Virtue Field. Back after halftime. Here with more Vermont Green soccer.
I don't think that's really...
Sometimes it's just the start of the journey that makes one follow closely behind. Sometimes it just takes one for a couple to be in the distance. Sometimes it just takes a couple with many more on their heels. Sometimes it's showing people your passion and heart that makes the journey greater every second. It's a spirit of success and to fight for what you believe in. It's grueling seconds of training. Repeat again, one more time. Sometimes it is games that feel like they will never end. And sometimes it's games that you don't want to end. It's what you do after the 3 whistles. Sometimes it's becoming stewards of our green mountains and the lands that sit between our cleats, showing that this world won't last forever unless we cherish it like a goal in the 95th minute of the championship game. Other times, it's breaking the binds of social stigma, racial divides, and inclusion to change and expel the ugly mindsets of those who try and spoil our beautiful game. Sometimes the fight for change is harder than the toughest of defeats. But don't forget that in those moments, that's when it stops being sometimes. All the time, it's a team of players, a family of fans, a passion for a better future. It influences change in our community, in the world of football, and beyond. All the time. It's a community founded by many with the vision of one.
Amazing. That was it. Give him the big Vermont Green happy birthday. The star striker of the 2023 season. Coming back to UVM next year. He's going to be massive. Big cheers. Another year to our hat-trick hero. Up here in the box if anyone
What's
wants to
going on, Virtue
Field?
Let's go! Give it up for Vermont Green!
And you know what? I'm just going to turn it over.
What's going on? My name is Kachi, and I'm the middle school program manager at King Street Center. We're a youth development nonprofit organization in downtown Burlington serving kids ages 18 months to 18 years through early education, K through 5 after school, teens, and mentoring programs. For over 50 years, King Street Center has provided a safe and enriching space for children and youth to learn, recreate, and find opportunities to connect with the community. Thanks to Vermont Green Football Club, King Street Center teens are engaged in ongoing crucial conversations and learning about environmental justice and climate change through a sport many of them love. Our meetups with this epic squad is something all of us at King Street look forward to every week throughout the season, and we're looking forward to many more here on the pitch with them. King Street Center's programs, yeah, that's definitely a round of applause. Yes, give it up, give it up. King Street Center's programs are critical to the youth of Burlington, and with your support, our doors can continue to be open for the 120-plus children and families we work with every single day. If you're looking to get involved and support our work, our biggest fundraiser, the Summer Raffle, is live right now, featuring over $12,000 in prizes and over 50 chances to win. The odds are in your favor. To buy tickets or get in touch with us, find our flyers at the gift shop, social media on Instagram, and go to our website at kingstreetcenter.org. Here's to a great second half.
Woo! Let's up the green. Let's give a very Vermont Green thank you to Kachi and his friends from Vermont Green Center.
But a community effort to get these games going.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all the vendors that are in partnership with this too, but, you know, all of my friends from out of town or some of the people that have, you know, I know that have just attended a match for the first time, and what I tell them, I was like, it's honestly just a really great vibe. You know, I know that word's used a lot, but it is. It's a vibe that when you come to these matches, it's consistent. Every single time, it's relaxed, it's chill, but it's a lot of fun. It can get intense with the match itself, you know, depending on how it's going for it. But then, yeah, you got these vendors with this delicious food, you got this great beer, you got music, you got kids running around, you know. It's a great time.
Not that you and I ever get to try the beer, but I've heard it's good.
Yeah.
Right off the kickoff, Vermont Green pushing forward. I'll try to update you here if we do get any halftime substitutions that were made.
I don't see any for Vermont Green.
I don't either.
Yeah, same lineup for now.
That's Myers back for Benny Prego. He recently changed the name on the back of his uniform. He had Prego on there earlier in the year. Now he's got one that says Benny. I heard that he was sending the one that said Prego home to family, and they were able to get him a fresh one that had his nickname on there.
Nice.
The Portuguese kid up to D'Agostini.
Push right to Pachella.
Nacho Larich. Musa Ndia, who scored one of the two Green goals in the first half, along with Myers.
A shout out to Sabrina, your kid Oscar.
Gabe Threadgold's thumped down to the floor. But it's a foul going against Threadgold and the Green in that mix-up. Two first-time goal scorers opened things up in the first half for Vermont Green FC. That pass was just a bit behind Ayrton DePina, who entered in the first half for Boston City. I don't think I was able to mention him. He was constantly chasing the ball, as were most of Boston City. Pachella recovers.
Showing a bit of pace there.
Yeah, that's not necessarily something we associate with Daniel.
Hey, Sabrina! Oscar's all good.
It's a throw-in for the Green.
Oscar, give us a wave. Oscar. No, okay, no, not the right time.
There's a touch for Christofferson. He's involved.
All right, he got a touch.
Well, he did get the first touch of the game for Vermont Green. Remember, Boston City threw one on his net right on the first
touch. That's true. I forgot about that.
So they, in some ways,
they never tried it again.
Never tried it again. They said enough of that. Myers, a rare giveaway. Pachella goes down hard after winning the ball back for the Green. He has just been a workhorse this summer. Pachella, in his 14th appearance, he's appeared in every league match, making his 11th start of 14 games.
Yeah, he's got a hell of an engine on him too. You know, he doesn't seem to actually go down a notch even late into the matches for it.
Prego's touch just a bit too far out in front. It was snapped off of him by Pablo Gomez, who's entered the game on the left-hand side for City. Probo. D'Agostini took that pass. I think he was trying to split it for Threadgold.
Yep.
And there's Pachella. Larich left it for D'Agostini, but it was intercepted by a City defender.
I really like the timing of Threadgold's run. It's something actually really difficult to get right, and he's got enough pace on him that he can
Here's
actually...
Nacho. LaRache, what a save by Hall.
Ooh.
Kick save and a beauty down with his right.
A great shot low into the left, right of the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper stretched.
He's made a couple of big-time stops tonight.
Corner kick.
Let's take another look at this, too. Nice little pass from Pacella there. Good touch to the right. Sets himself up for the shot. David De Gea save.
Okay. Probo taking a quick corner to the near post, and Hall flies out and punches it away.
We're going again, though. Ball goes in.
That one well too deep for the green, and even the engine of Pacella unable to track it down.
Probo's had a couple of those. Maybe had an energy drink?
Maybe.
I don't know.
It's those long passes that have been off the mark from him. He's been concise as ever on the ground, it feels like.
It kind of actually makes sense a little bit because most of the times when we see him, he plays a little bit deeper, and he plays those, really long diagonal passes, and maybe he's just trying to adjust his weight.
Bozolongo steps in, plays it for LaRache. LaRache looking deep. There's nobody on the back post. Probo hustles after it, closes it down, trips himself up. And now City looking to break. The Rolls Royce, Jake Ashford in control.
Never looks scared. But that's, the trademark of a really good defender, and especially a center back. When you're running back towards your goal and the ball is in the air and you've got somebody immediately on you, and you have to stay calm. You have to be able to think.
Almost a good 1-2 between Bozolongo and Prego, but it was cut out. Over the top of Bozolongo. The Green are winning the ball back at a great rate. There's Probo in a deeper spot. And there's one of those passes on a dime for D'Agostini. Tosses it up for Threadgold. Threadgold flicks it back. It's Myers in traffic. Myers drags to the end line, and Hall goes with him stride for stride to save it. Green corner.
But to quickly touch on your point about winning the ball back so fast, I'm curious, from the highest levels, I'm wondering that, if Adam's taking a page out of almost like City's book, like Manchester City's book, is like,
oh, what a bending goal, Felipe D'Agostini. An absolute beauty off the short corner. Pinpoint precision, 3-0 Vermont.
And that's the goals that, we were asking for. We wanted one of those absolutely, gut busters, the absolute screaming goals. Little short corner, picks it out absolutely perfectly. Side netting, almost in the top corner for it. Very well struck.
The Brazilian has his third of the summer. He is quite the player. Another look at it.
And now it's just going to be an absolute slog for Boston City now. Down 3-0 into the second half. To get anything out of this match is just going to take, just levels and levels to raise up at this point. And that means, if they're going to try to go and get a goal, they're going to have to be more adventurous getting forward. It can't just necessarily be, waiting to win the ball back and then counterattacking.
Pacella has it knocked off of his foot out of bounds. And now I wonder when we'll see our first Vermont Green substitution of the night, as they have extended the lead right out of halftime on a beautiful finish from D'Agostini.
I think we're going to see a goalkeeper change.
Tonight's backup is Tristan Stefani, the 6'4" giant from Holy Cross.
Nice one.
Prego,
Right side to Prego.
read by the City defense.
Only to a Boston player. Well,
Bozolongo snaps it back.
Picks it up again, and down the right-hand side
Myers.
Prego.
He was looking for the nutmeg.
Prego wins a throw-in for the Green.
There's Benny. In this case, Benny has the Jets.
Nice one.
Thanks.
That has been a great partnership all year.
Nacho flashes into a deep area.
That's kind of what I was asking out of Boston City's FC center forward is just those little movements dropping in.
D'Agostini unable to beat his man down the line. I feel like we've seen more of that from Nacho tonight. He's really been looking to get on the ball.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing. He hasn't been stuck, right there at the top of the 18. He's made diagonal runs. He's checked into midfield. He's come out wide.
Hasn't been necessarily his best night finishing. He might have wanted a couple of those chances back, but he's been in a big part of Vermont Green controlling this game.
Well, every single match so far, you remember.
Mexican wave that's kind of get started.
You remember last season playing with Bjorn Golfson up top.
Yes.
There was a magnet to him, and he did do a lot of work, but he didn't actually necessarily have to.
What a dummy, and D'Agostini unlocks Threadgold. That's Probo for LaRage! Nacho! Flag stays down, the goal will count. Nacho going berserk, 4-0.
And he's got his goal.
A virtue vault for Nacho.
I think he's found his friends in the stands there, it looks like. Or no, I actually just think that's some of the local lads.
I think so. It's Probo's ball. City were asking about an offside there for LaRage. Look at that. Immediately Hall was asking for it, but it does not matter. Nacho's team best 8th goal of the summer.
And look how much it means to him. I love that. I love seeing that. It's the last match of the season, and you're already up 3-0, but he gets his goal, and it means so much to him. He gets up there and he jumps in, and I could see it was actually they were much younger than him, and it was probably just some local players from one of the local clubs, and he was just getting his arms around him, just screaming.
I think it was some of the King Street kids who were out on the field at halftime that were down there. Again, it comes back to the community impact. That's really cool.
Well, I mean, that's something you never forget as youth, as a kid, seeing this team and everything and getting to interact with the players like that. That's something that you're going to think about now as you play all the time, something to strive for.
There is a real soccer community being built here in Vermont. It helps that recently University of Vermont has had some real success with both their men's and women's teams. But with Vermont Green in particular, the last 2 summers, momentum around this sport in this area. As somebody who's relatively new to this state as well, Matt, in my opinion, it's felt like it's skyrocketed even in just the last 2 years.
Well, I used to, when I was coaching back for one of the local clubs based out of Montpelier, Capital SC, I remember there was 3, 4, wow.
Oh, my God.
There
Continue.
was 3, 4 kind of main clubs. There was Nordic, Far Post, Capital, and then a handful of others. And now there's, almost 8 in the area. And then there's a lot of kind of smaller clubs, which are a little bit more kind of rec. But I've seen literally the player pool just absolutely explode. There's just more players now. There's more coaches than within the last decade. So I think you're absolutely right.
Vermont Green have been a big part of that engine in the community. They're putting on a show tonight in front of their fans. A pair of first-half goals. And we've already seen some second-half highlights. Felipe D'Agostini's finish, probably in conversation for one of the finishes of the year for Vermont Green. And a classy feed from Giorgio Probo, his team best 5th assist of the summer on the LaRage goal. Nacho, remember, picked up a first-half assist as well, so it's been a good night for LaRage. Here goes Boston City. They want something for themselves. Jalfilo into open space for Masika, the right back. A rare voyage into the attacking third for Boston City. Melakusiev for Masika. Louis Gazo will carry it himself, the Vermont Green member from a summer ago, but now the center back is caught out. Vermont Green will look to push. Long ball over the top. LaRache might be in. Nacho drags it wide. Hall hustling to recover. Nacho. Flag is up. I missed it as well. Nacho was a step offside. And now we will see the first substitutions of the night for the Green.
For 3 Vermont Green substitutions.
I spot a massive man, Nate Jones. I spot Dennis Kruchenkov, the big alphabet. And Zach Zanke, ZZ Top, Big Z. So LaRache exiting. It looks like Kruchenkov.
Question, do you know exactly when the college season starts up officially?
Late August, last couple of weeks of August.
I'm going down to D.C., I think August 26th, so I was going to try to pop over and check out a Georgetown match and see Zengi.
We get to see Zanke firsthand right now. He's on in the midfield for Probo. Kruchenkov up top for Nacho. Jones in at the back for Musa Ndiaye. Nifty from Prego. Well, Matt, it's funny you mentioned Zange. He plays for Georgetown in the Big East, rivals of Creighton. Those two met in the Big East Championship last year. A couple of Creighton guys, including Nathan Schnurr, have recently headed out. They've gone back to their collegiate program, maybe just to see some family before the end of the summer. On Nathan Schnurr's kind of goodbye Instagram post for the summer, Zach Zange commented, "I'll see you in late fall."
I love it.
See you in that Big East title game, maybe.
Maybe it'll the stars will align. I'll be able to see Creighton versus Georgetown.
Wouldn't that be something? Here's Gabe Threadgold on the ball from Bozalongo. Threadgold launches to the back post. What a try from Zange on his first touch. Audacious is a word for that.
And that's, I thought that we'd kind of see some of those types of attempts going on, and sure enough, we have. Now, especially now that the match is pretty much done and dusted at 4-0 in the 60th minute. Players, these guys are going to try like certain strikes.
He's backpedaling. I mean, have the confidence to even attempt that. I can't fathom it.
Listen, he wants to be on at 8 a.m. ESPN Top 10.
All right, I'm down for that. Nate Jones showing off his long ball. Oh, what a touch. D'Agostini, it just ran away from him. That man has a ridiculous touch.
He's got a pillow for a foot.
I'm often in awe watching D'Agostini when the ball's at his feet. He coughs it up there. He's headed to reigning national champion Syracuse. That seems unfair.
Yeah, great.
Scored,
just what they need, more talent.
Scored 9 times for Oral Roberts with 6 assists, leading the way for them in the fall. He scored 6 times in the last 4 games for Oral Roberts. Really found his rhythm at the end of the year. And now Bozalongo down the line for Kruchenkov. The flag is staying down. Myers in the middle. It's DK over the bar. From a tough angle, Hall closed him down. The first big chance for Kruchenkov.
And there's so much going on that I keep actually missing, just barely seeing, like, all right, well, what's the shape of the back line? Like, how are they getting so open? But now it's not even necessarily what you saw in the first half where it was like this possession in like almost this oval shape around the box. This is like they're picking their head up, and there are these huge spaces in the lanes out wide. And they're just playing 60-foot ball, just right to their feet for it.
And now more Vermont Green changes. Nick Christofferson ends his night with a current clean sheet intact. So Tristan Stefani on in net. Nathan Messer coming on in the attacking midfield. So our first-hand look at Messer in this attacking role. And Bilal Kamal checks in. Bilal Kamal, 2 years into his Vermont Green career, somehow still without a USL 2 goal. Matt, there's about 28 minutes left in this. I think Bilal gets his first tonight for the Green.
Well, I'm curious actually about playing Messer on the right because he's left-footed. So that kind of tells me there's an intention that he's going to drive in and strike.
Musa Ndiaye has actually remained in the game in the midfield. Daniel Pacella has checked out. Here's Tapina. Tapina the striker. Back and forth with Ndie in front. It goes out wide. A ball across, and Boston City score. That was smacked into the back of the net. It gets by Stefani. 4-1 is our new score line. And that was touched.
It looks like everyone thought that it was offsides, and it never came because you saw everyone looking at the AR almost before the strike. So right there, and I think the keeper was caught off guard. I think he thought it was offsides. Everyone's just like, what? It's not. But, you know, that's a lesson. You play to the whistle, like, at all times.
So Vermont Green FC's clean sheet no more. Boston City on the board.
It's a great strike.
It was a great strike. Here goes Bilal Kamal on the green attack, back to work. Krutchenkov in a foot race with Gazo.
Substitutions for Vermont Green.
Green have the throw.
Coming off, goal scorer Chris Myers and goal scorer Felipe D'Agostini. Give him a big round of applause.
It is Myers and D'Agostini who have left the game for Messer and Kamal.
And coming on for them, Vermont Green.
Here's Messer out wide right.
Messer and second Vermont Green legend, Bilal Kamal.
DA playing his second position of the night, now in the defensive midfield. Gabe Threadgold. He's torn to the ground and draws the whistle.
Duck left, duck right, and managed to get the Green a corner.
I was a little sad that we weren't going to be able to see Bazzini one last time.
Bazzini not in the squad tonight, as I understand. He is just not quite 100%, I believe, so they are just making sure he's well rested. No reason to test him tonight in a game that does not have anything to do with playoff positioning.
Yeah, he's going to have to recover in time for preseason for UVM.
He'll finish his Vermont Green season with 6 goals and 2 assists in 5 games. Ridiculous.
That is damn impressive.
Zangi!
Oh.
Top of the netting, over the bar. The crowd ready to erupt when they saw the twine tickled. Well, Zangi, I feel like, has had 2 touches of the ball and has basically said, I'm going for goal as much as I can.
He's an electric player. You know, every time you see his movement, even off the ball, is just it's so quick. It's almost violent.
Huh. I like that. Violent with the ball and off the ball. Prego slaloming his way forward, gets it back from Krutchenkov. Prego to the end line. Back it comes. It's intercepted before it would reach Zangi.
Boston managed to clear the lines.
But
Poor clearance.
Bozolongo. Alfredo.
Bobbled just a bit.
Was that through the uprights or wide left?
That is over.
But going back to a point, because there's just so much going on
Lots
in
to
this match.
talk
I
about.
mean,
Go
every
ahead.
time I start to make a point,
Here's a
there's a
chance.
shot
Here's
on
a
goal. I'm
chance.
like, what? Oh, I missed
You
it.
get a chance, and you get a chance.
Exactly. But no, I swear I would bet that Adam and his staff have almost like a rule in training. They're like, if you lose the ball, you get it back in 5 seconds. That's it. No matter what, like, and you know, all right, you work on how to do that, how to, like, suck the air out of the play, but it's like you got 5 seconds to get the ball. And you just see it in the match. It's like all of a sudden there's 3 players around the person with the ball.
Another Vermont Green substitution. Dylan Lane is on. He checks in for Musa Ndie. That's headed backwards awkwardly. Nobody there for Vermont Green. Hall on the chase. It's spilled by Hall. Dylan Lane pressuring to win it back. The Furman Paladin down to the turf. And it's eventually wrenched away from Lane to the feet of Depina. But Messer wins it back along with Prego. So now it looks like Dylan Lane will partner with Bozolongo in the holding midfield, with Zangi maintaining his number 10 spot. Although we'll see. Zangi's played in that holding midfield spot as well. There's a touch where he didn't shoot it. Messer, early ball, back post, taken off the foot of Lane.
Krutchenko lines up, but doesn't pull the trigger because it is deflected away by Boston.
João Filo racing away for Boston City. They've got back within 3 in this match.
I know we've done a lot of these tonight, but can we also please recognise and applaud all of our ball people, all of the ball
Long
girls,
ball from
the
Ashford.
ball boys, the ball people.
Here's Bilal Kamal.
They have been phenomenal. They're all
Slides it to his
7 years
left.
old, and yet they have been fantastic all season. Thank
Too
you
far
very
in
much.
front of Messer from Kamal. Messer liked the pass, but he couldn't catch up.
Messer was trying to stay on sides, and he started to make the run, and then right as that happened, Kamal saw it, gave the ball, but Messer stopped his run. But that's just, a little timing thing, but it's a good idea.
A trio of Boston City substitutions being prepared. That's what we're waiting for.
It is your last call for alcohol sales. Last call for alcohol sales. They'll be ending in the 75th minute if you need a final tipple. One last beverage.
There are
to
the
wet
City
whistle.
substitutions.
Go on down to the bleachers now and get yourself a nice tasty beer.
Prego for Lane. Too much on the pass for Kruchenkov.
Chillen Lane with a smart pass to Krushenkov. And a little bit too spicy, sends it out for a Boston goal kick. Someone drive their car in.
Nate Jones won that ball back in the midfield. Of course, he rose up over whoever was in front of him. Bozalongo.
Bozalongo.
Smartly back for Kamal.
Down the left.
Anybody know what that horn is?
Not sure. Threadgold to Messer.
Big header. Messer couldn't quite get
Bozalongo
enough of it.
recycles it for Prego. I am not sure what that
That's
horn
Prego.
was. Maybe it was one of the food trucks back behind
Prego
us.
and puts him.
Benny Prego to the end line. Deep to the back posts. Nodded away before Kamal could get on it. But miscued out by Masika. It's a green corner again.
Boston sent it out for another corner. Just for the Wolves, can we give a big old
I thought it was the Mr. Dingaling ice cream.
Ben and Jerry's,
Yeah.
it could have been. The Green play it short again. Zengi's ball has good whip. Now Messer.
To Messer.
He was thinking about queuing that one up for a shot. Prego just kind of toying with the ball. Keeps it. Slaloms forward. Benny Prego fouled. An individual burst from Benny Prego.
Just really impressive, the profile of so many of these players with their dribbling, and I'm sure there's a lot of footage in the recruiting for it, but I don't know how much you could do to actually put together a team of so many really technically sound players.
Bozalongo asking for 10 yards of space.
Yeah, he's got about 5.
Yeah, I was going to give him 7.
Yeah. That yellow line is, I think, the 10.
I'll get my rangefinder out. We'll get exactly how many yards that is. A dangerous free kick chance for the Green. Bozalongo with the left, deep.
Bozalongo whips it in.
Loose on the edge of the 18, and here goes City trying to break. Well recovered by the Green.
Swarmed.
Prego reluctant to use his keeper, but eventually involves Stefani. And now the Green getting back into their shape. Prego with options. Runners. This is Dylan Lane. Kruchenkov in the middle. Lane deep to the back post. Bilal Kamal's there.
Just bobbled a little bit, but it was. I thought it was actually too close to the goalkeeper, and he was going to come out and get it, but he stayed on his line and almost turned into to 5-1.
Nobody more due for a goal than Bilal Kamal. Scored 5 times for the University of New Hampshire in the offseason. Well, in his regular season, in Vermont Green's offseason. There's Bilal. Draws the foul.
You know he's happy for NBA, but he wants his.
He wants his. And Chris Myers got his first in the green tonight.
What do I have to do?
D'Agostini and Laraich, the other goal scorers. I tell you what, though, I'll give Bilal Kamal a ton of credit. A New Hampshire Wildcat came here in the summer to play in enemy territory.
Yep.
Look, I know he's still an enemy of the Catamounts. He'll never say he bleeds green and gold, but maybe he bleeds a little bit of green now after these 2 summers.
Yeah.
And I have to imagine that is not easy going to join a team that has a lot of your big rivals on it. I bet that's tough back in his locker room in New Hampshire as well. I would have to imagine that those fellas let him hear that he comes and plays in Burlington.
He's like, you still one of us?
He most definitely is come fall season, but right now he's in the green. Well done by Kamal there. Bozalongo looking for Messer.
He's offsides.
The flag is now up. Messer, I think, was even glancing at the flag as he made that run in.
He's like, I am way too open.
Where is everybody?
Yeah.
Well, it's 4-1 for Vermont Green FC. How about the crowd, Nat? Withstanding an hour delay, that was a great shot of them there. It is still packed frame to frame of these Virtue Field bleachers.
They're like, it's worth it to show up a little late to work tomorrow, maybe.
Is that what you're telling your boss tomorrow?
I'm on PTO, buddy.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm on mat time.
Wins the ball for Vermont Green.
Benny in traffic. Poor giveaway there by Ashford. Jones forced to defend and does well.
Oh, Nate Jones. Safe, Nate Jones.
It's been a couple little moments like that, but that's when Boston City have all fully kind of pressed up high together. It's, either just been their one center forward, and those are the errors that you got to try to cause. And
now we know.
Don't do it at, 4-1. Do it when it's 0-0.
Dylan Lane pounces. He shoots just wide. Well, Dylan Lane has come in with his hair on fire. He has been all over the place since checking in off the bench. It's a goal kick, but what a chance for Lane, forcing the pressure on the City defense.
Yeah, it's got to be exhausting, too, for Gazo and, the rest of his defensive partners. It's been a long match to defend.
Now you have to deal with the fresh legs of Kamal Zangi, Lane, Messer, and Kruchenkov. Another almost dangerous giveaway. Bozalongo for Messer. Prego dashing forward. Tries to drag it with him. That's a great challenge. Messer sees a gap. It's on his left. His stronger foot, but Hall was always sliding to his left to handle.
That's what I was kind of waiting for, was him to dart in to the left with his left foot, because he's got so much pace on it. All he has to do, he drew in. There was 3 players around him, and he saw just a little opening, blew past him, and then gets his shot.
Volunteers for Vermont Green. These are the people that take your tickets. These are the people that sell some of the merchant. These are the ball boys, the ball girls, and the ball people. They've all been massive.
Prego finds Lane.
They all make Vermont Green what it is.
Lane has it tackled off his foot from behind. And there's Lane again in the right spot at the right time. Bilal Kamal. Been a while since we've seen Gabe thread goals.
He's been amazing.
Messer.
We would not be Vermont Green without
Zangi. And Prego. Zangi wins it back. It's Messer. He wants the end line. And that's going to go against Nathan Messer. Free kick for City.
And there's that little, possession triangle that Vermont has just been doing all night and all season, to be frank.
Oh, when the green come on singing.
Gazo has some trouble with it. There's Jones stampeding forward. Well, it's been a night of celebration. We've heard, probably been able to pick up on throughout the second half, our public address announcer, Tom Proctor, has been shouting out anybody who looks up at him. Getting big rounds of applause, and many of those same people are the same ones that we've been talking about all night. But I think this green side, with just over 10 minutes remaining, have thoughts for more. That was slick.
Yeah, I love that passing sequence just to get it
Kamal
forward and wide.
Bilal's dancing, his ball across, barely evades Zangi. I think Hall got a piece of it again. Prego tracks it down. He'll provide service. Blocked before it could reach big DK. Kurchenkov almost upended.
Boston recover, then stumble, then Vermont recover.
Yeah, you can see the tired legs. It's a slick ground out there, and you know when you're just defending the whole time, you're seeing players just slipping around, and it's just getting so difficult.
Kamal. Bilal somehow comes back to him. Bilal Kamal again saved by Hall. From a tough angle, Kamal is hunting.
Hands out to the sky. What do I have to do to get my goal?
He wants to put it back in play quickly. I mean, dance moves. He's going to put it in with his right foot. Kurchenkov gets the flick. It's DK. 5-1 Vermont Green. The big alphabet extends the lead.
Picked out his man, too. Kamal saw the little tiny movement moving forward. DK with the flick on. It looks like it just actually flicked off of a Boston City player for it. Well-worked goal.
Second of the year for Kurchenkov, the youngster from Davidson. That's a great ball from Kamal and a beautiful flick. Matt, it strikes me that's kind of the Bilal Kamal story. Created the chance, earns the corner, delivers the set piece, and then Vermont Green score. He doesn't get the goal, but he had his fingerprints all over that sequence.
I mean, he's had his fingerprints all over the entire season. He's been a provider for it. And, I mean, yeah, it's awesome to score goals, but, I mean, you got to rest your head on your pillow pretty happy that you're just constantly creating goals all season for your team.
It's Bilal's,
everyone loves you.
It's his third assist of the summer. I can confirm. I'm sure that makes him quite well liked.
What happened?
Tough to say,
I've never
Tom.
seen a goal do this.
Here goes Dylan Lane again. Kurchenkov tried to hold his run. Flag down for now. DK's on the end of it. Flag remains down. He's got options. It beats Zangi, and Kamal was unable to get on the end. A teasing ball from Kurchenkov. Almost the Green able to add a sixth. It's Zangi's turn to be in a bit of disbelief that he was unable to get a touch on that.
Well, it's been such a drastically different in the chances how they're getting created. They're so direct now, and you can just see, like, there's just so many openings in that back line for it. And Vermont are like, well, we don't have to actually put together 20, 30 passes to create this chance. We can just go direct on ground.
Stefani pumps it out of play for a City throw-in. What's changed? Is it just City wearing down a bit and the Green have been able to just take advantage with their fresh legs?
Yeah, it's getting worn down. It's trying to get more players into the attack, which is leaving gaps in the midfield. And then, you know, it's really hard for a back line to cover 2-3 players as a unit with no, like, midfield help.
Unlike my father.
That's a drive from distance by Philo. Stefani had that one covered.
Never left.
So it's Boston City's turn to try their best for some maybe late fireworks. Messer, Prego hustling on the overlap. There's a poor touch from Messer. And it's actually a foul against Messer after he tried to win the ball back. Space for Fila. The Brazilian advances it. Jones forced into defensive action, shouldering it away from Eduardo Pyrus. And Bozolongo. To do that in your defensive end is something else. Zangi ran into some trouble, though, as he tried to start the break. Probably has to get off his foot a touch faster there.
That's a good ball.
Into space. Jefferson Fidalgo, the one who receives it for City. Prego gets it back. He is tireless, Benny Prego. He does eventually actually tire a bit and loses it. Dylan Lane throws in a challenge. He's going to get called for that foul.
Perfectly legal in my book. I saw nothing.
Not very legal, Tom.
I had a foul there.
Yeah.
That is a foul in Brian and Matt's book. So a dangerous set-piece chance potentially for City as the clock winds towards the 90th minute. Deep left-footed swinger to the back post. Gazo was offsides, it appears. Flag up. Frustration from Pablo Gomez, who tried to deliver that pass. "85 complete minutes tonight in Burlington. 5 Vermont Green FC goals.
Shout out, it is not. And I don't know how many more to come, so you're just going to have to buckle up.
Dylan Lane.
Big shout out to everyone involved in the cleanup. The folks who
Nathan
work
Messer.
the cities and towns,
The green
taking
breaking again.
all
Prego.
the flooded places around the state.
Kruchenkov.
They have been huge.
Kruchenkov on his left.
Ooh.
His off foot there. Good chance for DK. Already with one tonight.
Well, I like how he actually didn't have to do anything incredibly physical. He just kind of used the momentum of everyone running around him and just like shielded it out just to get it onto his left foot.
A player who's been here since day one this summer. Kruchenkov has been, I think, quite sharp tonight since coming on, highlighted by the beautiful flick-on header goal. Now there's plenty of space in the middle. Bozolongo in the feet of Zangi! Big Z makes it 6-1.
And I mean, you know, a couple goals back.
Piggyback rides.
You know, another unforced error necessarily from the back line for Boston City. You know, giving the ball away cheaply just there. And this is, of course, there's going to be goals that are just going to keep coming if you keep giving away the ball just so deep within your defense.
The Green Mountain Boys can party. 6-1 for Vermont Green FC. And honestly, the way they've been scoring tonight, there might still be time for more. Bozolongo perfectly into the path of Zangi. A lefty strike right down the middle. That's probably the first time tonight that Hall will feel like he could have done better. Otherwise, he has been faced with so many shots tonight that have been impossible to stop.
Yeah, taking a shot that close, that hard. If you got anything on it, it would be incredibly impressive.
And Bilal Kamal,
Bazzini,
and his hunt continues.
Yaniv Bazzini, give us a wave. Bazzini, give us a wave. Yaniv Bazzini, give us a wave.
Yaniv Bazzini in the crowd tonight giving a big wave to the fans. It is his 24th birthday, I should say. Happy birthday to Yaniv.
Giving high fives to the little kids. Love to see it.
A man who has scored big goals on this turf so many times between the Vermont Catamounts and Vermont Green. Threadgold has played every minute tonight. He and Alfredo Bozolongo, the two who have not left this game along with Jake Ashford. And that's the trio that have played from moment number one.
goes longer with the ball forward. Headed out by Boston.
The Greens sandwich the ball back defensively.
8 minutes on the clock and he's still fighting.
Prego's been in there since moment number 1 as well, I should say.
Yeah, he hasn't dropped off at all in the entire match. It's credit to his fitness, absolutely.
Both him and Threadgold have been up and down the flanks.
Threadgold, since he came in, because he came in, maybe
halfway through.
Halfway through, and I didn't know anything. And
it's his 6th straight start since coming to the team.
So impressed with him.
No wonder that Washington are a powerhouse between Jones, Threadgold, and Myers, all returning this fall.
That position, that left back, that right back, you can call wing back, it requires elite fitness because you have to do both ends of the field. You have to do both jobs. You have to be, defensively sound, but you also have to be provider. And, you're going to be getting assists or at least assist attempts for it, tracking into midfield when there's like on the break, all those kind of things. It's probably one of the most difficult positions to play now.
Into the 90th minute. A goal kick for Boston City. As this 2023 Vermont Green FC season winds down, Louis Gazo on a jaunt forward. Matt, it's been a pleasure. As always, again, we'll talk more once this thing winds up, but just wanted to say that as we wind down here, it's been a real blast to get to do this for the 2nd straight year with you.
I know. How do we do this year round?
That's the question we're all trying to answer.
I know.
Played a full 90 minutes now, and I also have to give a major, major, major shout-out to our entire production crew.
Yeah.
If I'm giving shout-outs, that's the group that's going to get it.
A-team,
led by the likes of Justin St. Pierre, Tanner Acebo, producers, tonight Jordan Royer, outstanding camera operators, guys who have been braving the wind and rain all summer long. Messer, one more chance for the green. Zangi again, but Hall has the stop. And to just conclude that point, we know a lot of people have been very nice to Matt and I on social media for our work. We appreciate that. We would not be nearly half as
productive,
good, enjoyable, just able to bring you this product without the guys behind the scenes. They do so much incredible work to make sure that we're able to tell this story of this club. It really is a team effort, and we've got the best team running, in my opinion, obviously in USL too, but really I think throughout all of college athletics, this group right here.
They're so organized, too, that I could roll out of bed, show up with a cup of coffee, sit down, and we do our thing, and it's because of them.
6-1 the final. Vermont Green FC end their season 10-3-1. Celebration in the stands.
They did what they set out that they wanted to do for the last match of the season. Granted, it's a sad end because it doesn't mean going to the playoffs for it, but you want to put on a show and you want to give a great final match to this amazing community and the supporting group. Big shout out.
Smoke flying, flags waving.
That's a cool picture.
Zach Zangi and company headed to the Green Mountain Boys. They can have a virtue vault of their own.
Are we in Vermont or is this Poland? Got some ultras.
Dancing in the Virtue Field stands. And you know what? In some ways, maybe not as sweet as a year ago. You're not in the playoffs this year. But you win one more game. You have even more points. And the community impact and such, incredible this year.
And I think, thinking about now the 2 seasons, trying to remember as much as I can from the first season, and then this, I actually think this season was a better brand of football. I think it was way more technical. I thought it was you could clearly see a system in place. We touched on it a little bit on how they kind of like work the ball in possession, left to right, pulling teams apart, creating these passing lanes, those kind of things. It felt like it was a little bit more like the get the ball to Bjorn Golfson sort of thing last season, which was fine because he was absolutely immaculate. And he put on to the Sounders.
Even Nwegbo do something crazy.
Exactly.
This year, I agree.
It feels like it's a little bit more kind of well-rounded across the entire team. And I think that is absolute credit to Adam and his staff. And I think you're just going to see the same sort of thing next season, but better. You know, they're gonna know who they want even more now to recruit.
The story continues for Vermont Green FC. A season with so much success comes to a close with a monster 6-1 victory. Matt, I'll say it again, and I'll say it to our entire production crew. It has been an absolute honor and a pleasure. I would love to continue to do this with you as long as this team keeps playing, man. This has been real fun as kids are now storming the fields.
Yes, sir. But now a friendly reminder to all the locals and everyone, let's get this same crowd out here for UVM now. Now it's UVM's turn. Let's see you all out for those matches.
That would be something special. 6-1 does it for us tonight and for this entire season, for our entire production crew, for all of Vermont Green FC football. For Matt Montel, I'm Brian McLaughlin saying so long. We'll talk to you soon. And as always, up the green.